Hello again, Steve here, and today I wanted to make a few comments about what I saw yesterday on D Live, which was Styxhexenhammer in debate with E. Michael Jones. Now, I happen to like both of these guys. I've consumed a lot of their material over the years and learned a lot. So more recently, E. Michael Jones, but for a long while, Styxhexenhammer, and it was really quite interesting. First of all, the fact that they have to go on D Live to just basically have a discussion about something tells you something about the maturity of the vast majority of humanity. I was thinking about this yesterday and realizing, you know what, most people operate not that unlike children in a way, right? They're very emotional, and to try to explain something to them rationally is very difficult, and that's why I think if we really want to change the world for the better, we have to become storytellers, because that's how people learn, is through stories. I mean, children, we read them bedtime stories and so on, and if we tell them, if we don't think of having a rational discussion with a like a newborn or something like that, and I guess we shouldn't either with most so-called adults. But anyways, that's a rant for another time, shall we say. But it was very interesting, because though I respect E. Michael Jones for a lot of the work that he's done, I made this comment before. I don't know if it was specifically about him, but about religious people in general, which is that religious people generally start from the premise of, this religion is the foundation of what I believe, and I will only move within those bounds. And he seems to be one of them. For example, he's bringing up St. Augustine with Styxhexenhammer. Like, what's that got to do with anything? It's like, saint doesn't mean anything to a guy like Styxhexenhammer. I'm not sure what he is. He's a pagan or something, but it doesn't apply. Like, the saint part of it will just, why bother with saint? Just Augustine or whatever. Augustine said, this old dead dude said this or whatever. And those sorts of off gestures that Styx was using with regards to Augustine and others was, I think, very off-putting to Michael Jones, because I don't think he's used to stepping outside of his bubble of Catholics. I'm not sure, or people who support him. And furthermore, it seemed like, to me, it looked like that Michael Jones thought he was talking to the devil. Because after all, if you've ever looked at Styxhexenhammer's moniker online, it ends in 666, right? So that's sort of a devil thing in the minds of some. And I guess Styx, Tarl Warwick, does this on purpose. It's, in other words, to just basically to chase people like that out of his sphere, because if you're already that propagandized and your mind is full of all kinds of mush, which was probably what he would see it as, then he doesn't want to talk to them anyways. But because I guess it was set up as a debate, it kept getting jammed up. And I thought that, from what I could see, Styxhexenhammer was the guy who was much more emotionally reserved, much more emotionally controlled, rather, and was the winner of the day, because he's the one who stuck to that control and didn't put out assertions, right? Didn't put out assertions like, what's his name? Michael Jones kept saying, well, yeah, all these people are traumatized, but he couldn't give any evidence as to why he would say they're traumatized, other than they're saying that they are by pornography. The debate was about pornography, by the way, whether or not it should be banned, and at a certain point, I think Michael Jones showed the totalitarian that he is, which is that if he was the dictator, he would just ban a whole bunch of stuff. And I could understand that, having grown up in a family where my dad was very similar. He believed very strongly that the government and religion should be tied together, and that religion should rule supreme over the government, which on a practical sense would probably be better than what we have today, but of course, because we have another different religion, which is called leftism, that's ruling over it. But no, and at the end too, I thought that Styxhexenhammer was far more noble in his closing comments, which is that he thanked Michael Jones for the debate, and he said that he's probably going to read his books and what have you. And then when Michael Jones had the opportunity to to give his point, it was no thanks whatsoever. In fact, it was a little bit preachy, I thought, which is that, there's still hope for you, buddy, kind of thing, right? But it was really, really funny. And there was actually here's another thing too, I think that we can all learn from. This is maybe what we can learn from in watching this, is if we're going to go into a debate with somebody, it's a good idea to learn a little bit about them, probably, because it seems like this Michael Jones didn't know anything about Styx. He didn't know what his name was, even though all you got to do is type in any cursory search and you find his name. And he seemed to think that was his name and that he was hiding behind something. It was really, really awkward questioning. And Styx just handled it well. He just kind of chuckled at it like, this is, like, it was just, he didn't seem to pass judgment on it, but it was just really, really weird. And so yeah, we can learn something about it, and we can also calm down, right? Calm down, because other people may not see things our way. And if we're going to, after all, have a debate, and we want to make strides within that debate, it's better to remain emotionally in control. And I would say that Michael Jones basically completely lost it. You can see him looking at his clock here and there and saying, he was like, it looked like he was going to bail at a certain point, because he was being questioned on things that sounds like nobody's ever questioned him on before. He was able to, he's normally standing on these presuppositions that everybody in his echo chamber also presuppose. Whereas somebody who's coming from a completely different spiritual or religious or way of thinking background, a little more open-minded, and began to question those things, it was really, really weird. It was all, for Michael Jones, by the look of it, all of a sudden, holy smokes, somebody, especially with a name with 666 after it, is questioning me on these things. This guy is the devil, it seems like. It was really strange. So that's the biggest lesson I took from this, is, preparedness. If we're going to go into a debate like that, which is going to be seen potentially over time by tens of thousands of people, it's a good idea to at least find out who you're talking to, what's his name, what does he stand for, and to try to become emotionally controlled. So, it's great chatting. If you like what I'm doing, please like, subscribe, and share. We'll talk again soon. Bye for now.